Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for another video. We're going to go a little bit off the beaten path here and talk about some of the information that you can find on the label of a ball box. Some of it is more important than you think it is, and some of it's not quite as important as people think it is. I have the beautiful brand new Proton Physics here to help me talk about this. It is available now. Now, some of the information that doesn't really matter too much is just the general information about the ball that you can find on the website. It's got the cover stock. Down here it's got the cover stock, weight block, ball finish, the numbers of the weight block, just again stuff about that specific model of ball. Now, the rest of the stuff on the label is ball specific, or stuff that's specific to the ball that comes in the box. First thing up here that you can see in the big letters and big numbers, 15 pounds, 3 ounces. Most of the time people consider 15.2 to 15.5 to kind of be the optimal range. The idea being is that once you drill the bowling ball, 2 to 3 ounces comes out, depending on if you use grips, interchangeable thumbs, things like that. So the idea is that once you drill the ball, you're going to be pretty close to zero, or pretty close to that even weight, 13, 14, 15, whatever it is. You should be pretty close to dead even on that number. Now, some people have a little bit of a hang-up if the ball is maybe 15.6 or 15.0. They don't want it quite that heavy or quite that light, especially as well. It's a 15.6 is like a half-weight ball, or a if it's 15.0 and you drill it, then you're going to be under 15 pounds. But the reality is a 15-pound ball weighs 240 ounces, and I don't think that the ball weighing 238 ounces instead of 240 once you're done drilling it is going to have much of an effect on anything. Moving along to the top weight, this is another thing that doesn't matter quite that much. Basically what that is the same idea as an extra couple ounces in the bowling ball. It's an extra couple ounces in one location, which is marked by the heavy spot, or as we all know it, the center of gravity, so that when you drill on or around that spot, the idea is that once you get done, the ball should be kind of perfectly balanced from one side to the other. That top weight should be pretty close to zero by the time you're done drilling the ball. Now, USBC tolerance is no more than 3 ounces, and so most of the time top weight comes from 2.5 to 3.5, and so that's not terribly hard to hit. I can't remember ever having a problem in 15 plus years working in a shop with top weight coming out too much or being too much of a problem when you're done with it. Now, next thing that people do have a pretty big hang up about is the pin distance. And so this one is in a pretty optimal range. Most people think that 2 to 4 is a pretty good range. This used to be a bigger deal before USBC changed the rules on side weight. It used to be that top and bottom, side to side, all had to be within an ounce of each other. Well, now that tolerance is 3 ounces. Really easy to hit. But especially with an asymmetric ball, where if you had a short pin and it was too far one way or the other, or you had a longer pin that was too far one way or the other, it would kind of limit your drilling options, because you did have to meet that 1 ounce tolerance in either direction. And depending on where the center of gravity actually was and what layout you wanted to use and whether or not you wanted to use a weight hole, especially if you didn't want to use a weight hole and wanted to use a certain layout, sometimes the placement wouldn't allow you to exactly do that. Now, with the tolerance being 3 ounces any direction, it really doesn't matter too much, especially on symmetric balls. I'll show you one that I've got right here. I think that this Idol Pro has about a 4.5 inch pin. And as using my giant bottle of reactive scuff as an example here, imagine the pin that's on the bowling ball shows you the top of the core. And so this would be the top of the core on this bottle of reactive scuff. Well, it is symmetric, so as I turn it, nothing about the dimensions change at all. So it really doesn't matter on this Idol Pro here whether the CG is here, or whether it's out here, or whether it's over here, because all I'm doing is the pin's still going to stay where the pin's at. It's just changing the orientation of the fingers a little bit. It does not matter where this CG marker is at, as long as I don't go over the 3 ounces, of course. But it really doesn't matter where that's at, because you're not changing the orientation of the core. Now, some people, again, seem to think that if you have a couple ounces more side weight or a couple ounces less side weight, that's going to affect how the ball reacts. But they've done several tests. Storm has a couple videos on it as well that shows it just doesn't matter, especially with the strength of today's technology, the cores and the cover stocks, how strong everything is. It really doesn't matter. And once again, having an extra couple ounces on one side or the other of a 240 ounce ball just isn't going to make that much of a difference. Now the last piece of information, which is pretty pertinent if you buy, sell, or trade, such as a place like Storm Roto Grip Bowling Balls for Sale on Facebook, for example, SRGBBFS. If you do a lot of buying, selling, or trading, especially for rare vintage bowling balls, the last piece of information that you're going to want to check out is the serial number on the box here that should match the serial number on the bowling ball. This is something that's important because generally speaking, the 15-pound balls go for the highest price. They're the most sought after, they're seen as the most valuable. So if you are sold a box that comes with all the right specs, 15.3, 2.3 ounces of top weight, 3.5 to 4 inch pin, this is considered very good specs. But if the serial number on the box does not match the serial number on the ball, you could have a big problem, especially if you're expecting to be sold a 15-pound ball and you actually get a 14-pound ball instead. So you'll notice that on the box here, 20 TNB J05A075. Have to remember all those, there'll be a test later. 20 TNB J05A075. So this is the ball that matches the specs that are on this label. Another fun fact about the Storm and Roto Grip stuff is the first number in the serial number indicates the year that it was made in. Some people, that is important to some people. Some people think that one certain year of a high road is better reacting than another. That's all subjective, and even the pros will tell you that balls from the same batch can react differently depending on how new the surfacing pads were or what day they bowled a certain block, or there's so many different things that go into ball reaction that I don't buy into the specific year the ball was made in too much, but to some people it's important. I don't find it to be that important, but I digress. Anyway, that's the information that you can find on a ball box. Once again, some of it's fairly important and some of it's not, depending on which direction you lean. Thanks once again for watching, and may the strikes be with you.